Welcome to the Deep Dive. So you've brought us quite a collection of sources on Jodhpur in Rajasthan, and it seems to paint a really complex picture.
It really does. We're talking about the Blue City, also called the Sun City, historically the capital of the Kingdom of Marwar, a place with quite a reputation.
Definitely. And the theme that seems to jump out from these sources is this huge contrast, right?
Exactly. That's the core of our deep dive today. We have to grapple with two sides of Jodhpur. First, you've got this incredible, almost overwhelming royal legacy, the massive forts, the palaces, the history.
Okay.
But then we need to balance that against the, let's say, ground level reality. What's modern life like? What are the urban challenges? And importantly, what's the local culture that really makes the city tick day to day?
Right. So let's start with that foundation, the imperial history. Founded back in 1459 by Jodhpur.
Mm-hmm. And the location wasn't accidental. It was incredibly strategic, positioned right on that vital trade route connecting Delhi and Gujarat.
So that's how it thrived, controlling trade.
Precisely. Think valuable goods. Opium, copper, silk, dates. Jodhpur was right in the middle of it all.
But you can still feel that history today, I imagine. Especially with Marangar Fort.
Oh, absolutely. It dominates the city. And the name itself, Marangar, it evolved from Miral.
Miragar.
Yeah, meaning Fort the Sun. It's a direct nod to the Rathore clan's claim of descent from the sun god, Surya. It's woven into their identity.
Wow. And the scale. It's just enormous, isn't it? Rises 122 meters straight up from the plains.
It's breathtaking. You understand why Rudyard Kipling described it the way he did?
That quote, yeah. A palace that might have been built by titans. Why do you think that description resonates so much? Is it just the size?
It's the size, yes, but also the location, the sheer impregnability of it. It feels permanent, almost elemental, and it literally wears its history.
How so?
Well, think about the gates. There are 7 huge ones. Jaipur, for instance, celebrates a victory over Jaipur and Bikaner back in 1806. And Fatehpur marks a win against the Mughals in 1707. You can apparently still see marks from cannonballs near one of the gates. Scars of battle.
Incredible. But there's also a darker history mark there, right? At Lohapol.
Yes. Near the final entrance, you find these handprints. They're sati marks, left by Rani's princesses, marking their commitment to sati after their husbands died. It's quite poignant and sobering.
Definitely a stark reminder. Now, contrasting with Marangar's ancient defensive feel, there's Umaid Bhawan Palace.
Right, a completely different beast. Marangar is 15th century, built for war. Umaid Bhawan is 20th century, built between 1929 and 1943.
And often called the Famine Palace. That tells a story in itself.
It does. Maharaja Umaid Singh commissioned it, and the primary reason given was to provide employment during a terrible drought in the 1920s. Thousands of farmers got work.
That's interesting. I mean, building a massive luxury palace as famine relief. Was it purely philanthropic or also about, maintaining that royal image during a tough time?
I think you have to assume it was both, right? The sources do confirm the employment aspect, but let's be real. Building one of the world's largest private residences, 347 rooms, this amazing Indo-Deco style, it's also a massive statement of power and prestige.
Makes sense. And today it's part hotel, part museum, part royal residence still.
Exactly. A modern legacy, but still quite exclusive.
Okay, so we've seen the view from the top, from the palaces. Let's come down to the street level. What's life like for the people actually living in Jodhpur now? You mentioned community discussions. What's the vibe?
Well, it shifts quite dramatically, especially from people who've moved there from bigger cities. There's a recurring feeling that Jodhpur is politically neglected.
Neglected. How?
It leads to this sort of identity issue. One person we saw just called it a big town, not a real city.
Ouch. Are there specific complaints backing that up?
Oh, yeah. Infrastructure is a big one. Poor infra, big potholes on roads, people feeling it's necessarily expensive for the quality of life.
Oh.
But the most consistent complaint, really across the board, cleanliness, or the lack of it. People mention seeing piles of garbage, even in the posh areas.
That's surprising, maybe. Or maybe not. What's the local take on that?
There's this one anecdote that really stood out. Someone confronted a person littering, and the response was basically, it's the shopkeeper's job to clean it up.
Wow. That says a lot, doesn't it? About civic responsibility.
It really crystallizes the challenge. It's not just about services. It's about a mindset, perhaps, where waste disposal isn't seen as everyone's responsibility.
And beyond garbage. Any other issues mentioned?
Yeah, things like reports of widespread child labor, which is troubling. A real lack of traffic sense, people driving on pavements is mentioned.
Driving on pavements? Seriously?
Apparently so. And just practical stuff like locations not being updated on Google Maps, making it hard for newcomers to navigate the older, denser parts of the city.
Okay, so it sounds pretty critical, but is there a counter-argument? Do people defend the city?
Absolutely. There's definitely local pride. Some migrants actually love the slowness of the city. They find parts like the Air Force area super peaceful.
So a different pace of life appeals to some.
Right. And locals will often point out that, look, problems like waste collection, expensive auto rickshaws, no great city bus system. These exist in many Indian cities. They still value Jodhpur's history and maybe that slower pace.
And Jodhpur still carries weight, right? It's officially the second largest city in Rajasthan after Jaipur.
It is, yeah. Based on population, having the state high court, and some major educational institutions.
Like the IIT and AIMS.
Exactly. IIT Jodhpur, AIMS Jodhpur, also National Law University, NLU, and the National Institute of Fashion Technology, NIFT. That concentration of big-name institutes gives it significant regional importance and helps justify that second-best city title.
But hang on. If the infrastructure is poor, there are potholes, garbage issues. Can having those elite colleges really make it better than, say, Udaipur or Kota, which some sources suggest are better maintained?
That's the debate, isn't it? It feels like Jodhpur might be trading a bit on its historical prestige in those institutions, maybe overlooking the current livability aspects that people are complaining about.
A city wrestling with its identity, then. Past glory versus present reality.
Precisely. But let's shift gears now, because beyond the problems, Jodhpur has this incredibly vibrant cultural heart. And this is where you find experiences that really transcend those structural issues.
Okay, culture. Let's talk festivals. They seem central.
Huge! Take RIF, the Rajasthan International Folk Festival. It's UNESCO patronized, happens every October right inside Morangar Fort. It's all about celebrating traditional folk music, but also fostering these amazing global collaborations.
Sounds incredible inside the fort.
Yeah, imagine the setting. And then there's the Marwar Festival, celebrating medieval heroes with folk music, dance, even horse sports. Plus, you have the more traditional religious festivals like Gangwar for goddess Parvati and Shitala Ashtami. It's woven into the year.
So, big events. What about everyday accessible spots? Hidden gems.
Definitely. Torji Ka Chalra is a great example. It's an 18th century stepwell, beautifully restored. Now it's this cool hangout spot, surrounded by cafes, history made usable, you know.
Nice. Making history part of modern life.
Exactly. And for just soaking in the atmosphere, you have to go to the Cedar Bazaar near the clock tower, the Ganta Gar.
Ah, the central market.
The absolute bustling heart. Spices, textiles, silver jewelry, and especially the famous tie and dye fabrics, the bandhani. It's a full sensory overload in a good way.
Sounds vibrant.
Yeah.
Anything else off the main tourist track?
Well, there's the Rao Jodha Desert Rock Park. It's right next to Morangar, a newer initiative focused on restoring the native desert vegetation. Great walking trails, and apparently the sunset views of the fort from there are spectacular.
Okay, restoring nature next to ancient history. Cool blend. Now, we absolutely have to talk about food. Jodhpur cuisine sounds legendary.
Oh, it is, and it totally reflects the desert climate. Lots of reliance on ingredients that last, and a very generous use of ghee clarified butter.